Hello everyone, welcome to my first topic, backcross and test cross. In this presentation, we will learn about some important terms used in inheritance studies. Backcross, merits of backcross breeding, demerits of backcross breeding, test cross, and significance of test cross. The term genetics was coined by Bateson in the year 1960. Now, what is genetics? Genetics is the study of principles and mechanism of heredity and variation. Now, what is heredity and what is variation? Heredity. Heredity is the study of transmission of characters and variations from one generation to the next. This can be easily understood by the fact that there are certain characters like eye color, height, skin color of your father or mother transmitted to you and from you to your next generation. So how these characters are transmitted from one generation to another generation is known as heredity. Now coming to the next term is variation. What are variations? Variations are differences found in morphological, physiological and cytological behavioristic traits of individuals belonging to same species, race and family. Now if I simply want to explain you what variation is, it is differences. It is a difference. Now if we look into the human population, we will find that different individuals have different height, different skin color, different eye color, different characteristics of their hair, skin. So this differences among the individual is known as variation. When we study variation and heredity together, it is genetics. Now, we need to know about certain pioneers in the field of genetics. Now, father of classical genetics is Mendel. Father of modern genetics is Bateson. Father of experimental genetics or Drosophila genetics is Morgan. Father of human and physiological genetics is Garrod. Father of quantitative inheritance is Kallreuter. Father of neurospora genetics is Dodge. Father of eugenesis is Francis Galton. Father of Indian genetics is M.S. Swaminathan.
The first term which we will study in genetics or inheritance studies is gene. Father of genetics, Mendel called this gene as factor because at the time when Mendel did his experiments on garden pea, sophisticated scientific instruments were not invented. So Mendel could not exactly determine what were the substances which helped in the transmission of characters from one generation to the other generation. So Mendel termed those substances as factors. Today, after the development of scientific instruments, we know that these factors are nothing but gene. Now, if we want to define gene, we can define it like this, that in modern sense, an inherited factor that determines a biological character of an organism is called gene, or gene is the functional unit of hereditary material. Now, if you look into this diagram, you will see that there is a diagram of DNA at the beginning. DNA is a chemical substance found in the nucleus of cell. We know that DNA gives us characters. It is because of the DNA of our parent that we have some similarity with our parent. But actually the entire DNA is not responsible for giving you character. As you can see in this diagram of the DNA, there is a certain portion indicated in red color. This particular segment produces an mRNA which gives you a protein, and this particular protein gives you the function. Let me explain it in a more easy way. Suppose we are considering our eye color character. Suppose I am having black color eye. So the gene segment of the DNA as indicated in the diagram will produce a mRNA, will produce a protein that will give me black color eye. So in simple terms we can say that gene is that segment of the DNA which gives us a character. Now coming on to the next term is alleles or allelomorph, and the third term is gene locus. Now we will study gene locus and allelomorph together. Now if you see in the diagram where a pair of chromosome is drawn. Now in this pair of chromosome, what you will see that once there are certain area of the chromosome which is indicated as eye color, blood type, hair color, growth. That means of the chromosome, these are the areas which gives a particular character, say eye color, blood type. In human, you know that chromosomes are in pairs. We have 23 pair of chromosomes. Now, in a pair, whatever genes are present on one chromosome, same genes are present on the other chromosome of the same pair exactly at the same position. For example, the blood type is present in the second below the eye color in one of the chromosome of the pair. In the second one also, the blood type will be present below the eye color exactly at the same position. This position at which the chromosome where the gene is present is known as gene locus. And both of the genes, if you take it together, then it is known as allelomorph. Now, if you look at this diagram, what you will see that in one chromosome allele 1 capital A is there, allele 2 capital A small a is there. Now, see, sometimes what happens, suppose if you go back to the blue color chromosome where the eye color blood type is indicated, you will see there, suppose the blood type gene of one of the chromosome of the pair get altered, get modified, then you will indicate it as mutant. So if the blood type in both the chromosome of the pair is same, that it is not mutated, not changed, then we will call it homozygous. If both are mutated, both are changed, we will call it homozygous. But if one is normal, one is normal, that means not modified, and second one is modified, then we will call it heterozygous. So whatever it is, whether it is homozygous or heterozygous, both taken together is known as alleles or allelomorphs. Here you can see in this diagram where allele 1 and allele 2 is there. Here you see the first one is capital AA homozygous, last one is small aa homozygous, the second and the third is capital A and small a, that is called heterozygous. So whether it is capital A, small a, small a, small a, both taken together is known as alleles or allelomorph. So what are alleles or allelomorph? These are alternative forms of the same genes.
The next important terms to be used in genetics are wild and mutant alleles. Now, if you have idea of the Mendelian cross, where he studied about the inheritance of height, tall and dwarf, then you might remember that the tall character was very dominant. That means most of the pea plant in the offspring had tall character. and very few had dwarf character. So the character which is very common, whether it is found in the parent or in the offspring, and majority of the offspring have this character, it is known as dominant. And the character which is less commonly found is the mutant. Now as you can look in this diagram, this is the wild type of allele. It produces a normal mRNA which produces a normal protein, and this protein gives the tall height. Mutant allele. You can see that due to certain factor, which may be some radiation or chemicals, there occur certain changes in the DNA or the gene, which is indicated here in black color. It produces a change in the RNA which produces a broken RNA. Now this broken RNA cannot produce the protein which is required to give a tall height. So the gene which produce or the allele which give rise to tall is known as the wild type. The allele which have given rise to a broken RNA or a modified RNA which do not produce a protein, or a modified protein which do not produce the same characteristic as the normal, is the mutant allele. The next term is homozygous, next is heterozygous. We will study both of them together. Let us see the diagram. Now in this diagram, if both the alleles of a pair have same type of, whether it may be dominant or recessive, it is known as homozygous. If one of the allele is dominant, one is recessive of the pair, then it is known as heterozygous. Homozygous are self-breeding, they are pure because both the alleles are of the same type. That means both are the same type of gene. Heterozygous are known as hybrid because one is normal and one is mutant present together. Next is genotype. Suppose if I ask you what is the genotype of the first chromosome pair in blue. Genotype is the genetic constitution of the organism. If you consider the first, it will be capital B, capital B. If you consider the second, it will be capital B, small b. So genotype is nothing but what genes are present in an organism. Now, the next important term used in inheritance study or genetics is phenotype. Now, we have already studied genotype is the genetic constitution. Now, that genetic constitution gives what type of character is known as phenotype. Phenotype is nothing but expresses the characteristic of individual like form, sex, color and behavior. If we look at the diagram below, you can see capital W is a homozygous genotype. It produces normal wings. That means whatever you can see from outside or whatever is produced in the body as a result of the genotype, which you might see, which you might not see, is known as phenotype. That means whatever is the product of genotype is the phenotype. Next is pure line. Pure line means generation of homozygous individual which produce offspring of only one type. That is, suppose capital TT will always produce tall, so that is the homozygous individual produces only one type of offspring. Now, as you can see in the other diagram, the phenotype or outward characteristic which you might see, you might not see. Suppose if it is eye color, it is hair color, you can see from outside. If it is an enzyme or hormone produced as a result of gene, you might not be able, you won't be actually able to see it. So what is phenotype? we already studied, it is the expression of the genotype. But we need to remember one thing, that phenotype is also affected by the environment. That means, suppose if you have gene of producing you tall, but you don't take sufficient amount of food, you don't have sufficient amount of environmental factors to give you a good height, then you won't have it. So phenotype, or the expressive characteristic of an individual, is affected both by gene and the environment. Now the next important term we need to study are monohybrid, dihybrid, polyhybrid cross. If you remember the Mendelian process, Mendel considered different characters of pea plant for studying inheritance. Suppose in the second diagram over here, you can see there is yellow pod of the pea and green pod of the pea. Here Mendel only considered the color of the pod. As he has considered only one character study, so it is known as monohybrid cross. If he considered two, as you can see in the first diagram, he considered round shape and yellow color pea seed. He considered both shape and the color. When two characters are considered, it is known as dihybrid. If you study the inheritance of more than two characters, then it is known as polyhybrid. The next important term is genome. We have 23 pairs of chromosomes. In a pair, one chromosome is similar to the other. So, if we want to study what genes we have as a whole in human, then what we will be doing, we will be considering only one chromosome of the pair, because the other one is going to have the same gene. So, total chromosome of the person divided by 2, that is half, is known as genome. So genome is the haploid set of chromosomes and inherited as unit from parent to offspring. Second is gene pool. All the genotypes of all organisms in a population form the gene pool. Suppose we want to consider the human gene pool. So whatever genes are present in all the individuals of the human population, together it is known as gene pool. F1 generation and F2 generation, we are going to study it together. Now, as you can see in the last diagram, parental generation, one is having capital SS allele, one is small ss. So we know that gametes are going to have half of the parent chromosome. So one capital S, one small s. So both combined, we got capital S and small s. Now the first set of offspring produced from the parents, the first generation, is known as first filial generation or F1 generation. When this is crossed with another one and another set of organisms is found, the second set of offspring is the F2 generation. Now, next, Punnett square. What is Punnett square? In Punnett square, it is a checkerboard. What we do here, on the horizontal axis, we put the male gamete, genotype of the male gamete. On the vertical axis, we put the genotype of the female gamete or the other offspring. Now what we do, then we cross it, combine it together, and the result shows the possible genotype of the offspring. Self-crossing or selfing or self-fertilization. See, in this diagram, if it is, here it is shown in a plant, the anther produces the male gamete, pollen, which moves to the same plant flower that is meet with the gamete of the same plant, female gamete, then it is known as self-fertilization. Cross-fertilization occurs if gametes of two different plants or animals meet. Diagram. What you have seen, if you cross the F1 hybrid with the dominant one, you have found that all the offspring are dominant. This means that if the dominant character is important for you, then you have retained it in the offspring. It is useful of transfer of disease resistance and incorporation of quality traits into the variety. This is explained in the first point. This is used for development of isogenic lines. What is isogenic line? Same type of characteristic. Parents is having tall, offspring will have tall. Extensive tests are not required. 2 to 3 generations can be raised in off-season nurseries, greenhouses. It would save time. This is only method for interspecific gene transfer and transfer of cytoplasm. Male sterility and fertility restoration genes can be transferred to various backgrounds. What is a demerit? New variety cannot be superior to recurrent parents except for the character transfer. Sometimes what happens that you have in this as a whole, if we consider that sometimes what happens, the new variety which you find is more or less, if it is exactly similar to the parent, that it may not be superior. You might need a new character. The next important point, it involves lots of crossing work. To get a proper result, you have to go for a 6 to 8 back cross, which is very difficult and time consuming process. And sometimes in the process, undesirable, unwanted genes get transferred. Suppose in the parent which you have seen that there is a very good character, you are allowing it to self-fertilize, but sometimes what happens, some unwanted character may remain hidden, which may be expressed in the offspring. By the time the backcross program, the recurrent parents may have been replaced by other varieties superior in yield and other characters. Next is test cross. It is the cross to know whether an individual is homozygous or heterozygous for dominant character. The individual is crossed with recessive parent. Now test cross is nothing but another form of back cross. Here what we do, we take a unknown genotype, means we have an organism in our hand. We don't know whether it is a pure breed or it is a hybrid. So what we do, as we are not aware of it, we cross it with the recessive parent. For example, you see in the diagram given below, here capital GG gray is crossed with white, which is recessive. So when it is crossed, all the offspring are 100% gray. If 100% gray offspring, 100% one type of offspring you find, that means it is homozygous. The unknown genotype is homozygous. When you are crossing with a hybrid one, capital G with a small g, you find 50% gray, 50% white. So if you have a hybrid, the resultant offspring will be of two different categories. Now what is the significance of test cross? It is conducted to check the zygosity of phenotype in offspring. See, in field, when you go for crop field, what happens, that it's very important to find that the plant which you are using are of the character which you want. If it is of a hybrid, then there is probability that you might find some unwanted recessive character. So half of your crop field will be of unwanted, half of your crop field will be useful to you. But if you check the zygosity of the phenotype of the organism beforehand, then what will be the importance for you? That you will be finding exactly what you need. To get know about whether a particular animal or plant is homozygous, dominant or heterozygous, we cross it to homozygous recessive individuals, and if we get all the offspring of the same phenotype, then individual is homozygous, dominant, and if we find 50% offspring of one type and 50% of the other type, then individual.
Now thank you so much. For any doubt, you can contact me with your name, contact number and mail ID at goswami.pallavi29@gmail.com. For other topics, you stay tuned to the channel and do subscribe it, and same topics and the other topic you will find both PowerPoint presentation and chalk and board class. Thank you.